Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Excalibur Data Systems Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson, and I'm joined from one of my most favorite, lovely people from across the pond, Olivia Holmes. And Olivia has taken the mantle and is debuting a new product for Halo called HaloCRM. Thanks for joining me, Olivia. And tell us a little bit about what's going on there at Halo. There's always stuff going on in the Mad Science Lab, but this is big.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. Thanks for having me, Mike. Yeah, no, it's been a really, really crazy few years. I've obviously been at Halo for about 4 or 5 years now. So I used to work on the ITSM product, which you guys know and love. But about a year and a half ago, we decided to go ahead and start building a new product. So CRM. Yay. So it's kind of been in the works for, about a year and a half. So we've been squirreling away in the background, developing, making some changes for its use case, and that is customer service. So where in the past, Halo ITSM has been really focused on those kind of internal use cases, so helping IT teams, facilities teams, HR, finance, that kind of stuff. We're looking at all those other teams that have that external focus. So we're thinking customer service, claims, complaints, maybe sales, maybe marketing to a lesser extent, but any kind of inquiry that's coming from outside the organization, it needs to be managed in an effective and a standardized way. That is what HaloCRM is for. So yeah, really exciting times. You can't keep track of what we're doing. We're always bringing something new to the table.
Well, it was exciting because I had the opportunity at the HDI conference in Las Vegas to sit down with you and learn a little bit about what you're doing with HaloCRM and how this is focused. So talk to us a little bit about what how an organization may use Halo. Maybe they're a Halo ITSM customer or they already have some sort of ITSM system. How does HaloCRM then fit into their organization and drive additional value for them?
Yeah, so the way we're doing it essentially, so it can be something that's added on to someone who has Halo ITSM to their contract. So I don't know, say you're 6 months into using Halo ITSM and you think to yourself, wow, this is the most amazing solution ever, which of course you will. And you think to yourself, hey, I need something to manage those kind of external inquiries as well, then absolutely HaloCRM is for you. Yeah, we've done it in such a way, so yeah, you can kind of add it onto that contract. So it just means there's no annoying secondary supplier setup process or anything like that. So it's a really easy way to kind of extend your use of the Halo products, really. In terms of how they actually link together, I guess, there is a very fundamental, very comprehensive integration there that allows the two to work together quite seamlessly. So let's frame that in an example. So say you are like a retailer, you're selling, I don't know, clothes, whatever it might be, and you get an inquiry in from a member of the public and it says, hey, I ordered a dress, I hate it, it looks terrible, I need to return it, but your website, the returns process won't work. So as a customer service person, that goes to you, of course, because it's a member of the public asking a question, but it might actually be the fact that, I don't know, someone in your technical team, the IT team who's using Halo ITSM, is actually the one that's going to fix that technical issue with the website. So what we've built is a nice way to handle that process and push it to that team in ITSM for them to handle. And as they work on it, any updates that they have, things like, oh, it's been escalated in priority, or the status has changed, or we've added an update, all sync seamlessly back to that inquiry in HaloCRM, and the person who owns that inquiry in HaloCRM can kind of control what information is pushed back to the customer. So it's really seamless, and it just gives really great experience to that customer as well that's having that issue. So it's really tied quite tightly together, and we've even building a new function that allows you to kind of mention people in the other platform as well. So loads of communication going back and forth between the two. So loads of value it can add. It just means that all the magic of Halo that you're experiencing on that internal side is just completely extended to the external function as well.
And that helps me as a customer service rep better communicate with my customers. Let's talk about those communication platforms. In a traditional ITSM sense, generally speaking, you're using Teams or Slack or some sort of internal communications methods that your customers, if you will, would be communicating with you. But with HaloCRM, you guys have really extended that to the common platforms that external customers would be communicating with, in your example, as a retailer.
Absolutely. So we're very much like becoming an omnichannel solution, essentially. So where in the past the Halo software only really looked at emails, calls, Teams, that kind of thing, those more internal kind of mechanisms, we're now very much looking at expanding across all communication methods. So recently, for example, we've developed a WhatsApp integration, so you can actually WhatsApp Halo now and receive replies from there. We're building out an Instagram integration. We're even scoping out a TikTok integration, which is really exciting. So basically any method where a customer could get in contact with a customer service team or a customer facing team, we will be integrating with, essentially. So lots of work done already to integrate with all the main channels, Twitter, Facebook, Messenger. But yeah, lots more to come as well, which is really exciting.
And that kind of drives that what's the difference, right? Because from an ITSM perspective, generally companies aren't putting their IT problems out in social media.
Yeah, WhatsApp isn't the best IT support method, yeah.
Right. However, from a customer support perspective and a customer service perspective, those external customers, those are all of the channels that there still is the phone calls. We don't
absolutely.
necessarily get away from it, but for so many customer service interactions as we see out there in the world today, there may not be a phone number to call.
Yep.
Like call Twitter. You open something through their portal, or you can email, or you can do any of these numbers of different ways to communicate. But this is helping to serve that external customer.
Absolutely.
And when we look at all these things, it's still running a incident or service request process as we would know in the hardcore IT world. The basics of that process, to who, what do they need, what's the priority. But one of the things that really impressed me when we talked about this is customer service tends to be a higher touch sort of mechanism. So what are the ways that we can communicate back to that customer and let them know what we're doing about their issue? If we haven't already solved it, if it wasn't a first call resolution, as we would call it on the IT side, in many cases that issue is resolved. But how can we now be able to integrate with those social media channels that help drive so many things? I see it all the time as somebody who prior to the pandemic was a very frequent traveler. I'm not as frequent a traveler anymore with the advent, everybody starting to use the technology like we're using here to communicate. But you'd see it all the time on airline sites or hotel sites where there was an issue. Somebody would tweet, hey, I've got a problem, or post a Facebook message, I have an issue. And you'd see that the customer service team interacting. Hey, we're going to DM you, and we want to find out more about what's going on. How do we capture all of that? And that's where HaloCRM comes in. It captures all of it in a nice little trackable system, doing ticket management when you really get right down to it. And so it's not it's not like it's some sort of completely new process. It's a process that we're all familiar with, but it's taking that process and applying it to a whole different way of interacting with that customer and helping that customer to resolve their issues. And as you noted, it could be for customer service, but it could also be a complaint opportunity, or any other sort of communications that a external entity may want to have with the organization. So that becomes that external facing communications way.
Yeah, I mean, even something we're looking at doing at the moment is integrating with lots of review platforms. So Google reviews, Trustpilot, Facebook reviews we're looking into as well. So it just means that if someone, left you a bad review, that information would be pulled into Halo as well. And you could then reply to that, or if it's a good review, maybe automatically send back a nice thank you very much, we really appreciate it, that kind of thing. So it's not even just the sort of traditional communication channel, it's also reviews. Everywhere a customer is essentially is exactly where we want to be. And I think you said earlier about telephony and the kind of move away from that. I think that's really important because, you know, if you look at it, telephony is one of the more expensive methods of supporting your customers, whereas things like Twitter, WhatsApp, all of that can be much more cost effective, really, and also more visible. You know, when you're applying to a Facebook comment, or you're applying to a tweet, or you're applying to a review, that's something that all the rest of your customers are potentially going to see as well. So it's not just kind of that one-off interaction, it's also the value that replying in a really effective way, in a really quick way, you know, the value that adds as well. And then obviously, you know, on the other side of it, just wait times. I mean, if you're only putting telephony out there into the world, if there is some sort of larger issue, well, you know, there's going to be lots of people waiting on the phone, getting slowly more and more angry, as I know I've been on the receiving end of before. Instead, if you have all these lovely options, you know, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever it might be, you're spreading that load across lots of different spaces, but bringing it all into one area so you can effectively prioritize all of those issues across every different channel in one centralized space. So yeah, just a centralization piece as well. And if we go a step further, of course, you've got to think about the reporting on the back of that. So when you have all of that wonderful customer communications information in one space, you can then start to report on that and derive actionable insights. So, you know, really mapping out that customer journey. Where are people wanting to speak to me? Is it that we're getting the best CSAT results from this particular channel? You know, understanding your customer, I guess, is something that this can also help you do, not just kind of reactively managing all of those inquiries, I suppose.
Well, I think also at a very, very basic level too, you know, if you're a retailer or a manufacturer, do we seem to be getting a lot of issues with a particular product or product line or particular
Yeah,
SKU?
absolutely.
Being able to to derive that information pretty quickly in a less ad hoc fashion,
Yeah.
because you've got that information. Now, does this include chatbot type technology as well as like live chat support as well? Those sort
Yeah,
of
actually, that's a
capabilities
really
or those
important
capabilities in the
point.
CRM?
Yeah, so just as with kind of all of our existing products, we are absolutely going for that all-inclusive approach. So rather than charging per channel or for specific configuration or for volume of customers, API calls, anything like that, we're keeping that same lovely model of you just need to pay for the number of seats you need in the platform. So how many people are managing inquiries, agents, technicians, whatever you want to call them. And that's it. So all of the channels that we've mentioned are included, our integrations, our overhauled reporting suite, everything that's kind of in there in the trial is just there ready for people to use with no kind of financial consideration there. They just need to think about, you know, how many seats they actually need in the platform, and that's it. So very much trying to build something that's scalable, is future-proof, you know, something that you're not going to have to migrate out of in another 5 years, because who likes migrating, right? So
Right. And as the chatbot technology and live chat support continue to expand, and Halo as an organization debuted this technology last year, and it's come a thousand miles in a very, very
yeah.
short period of time. That's a fully integrated, and it's not a third-party solution. It's a Halo-owned solution that's built into
Absolutely.
the product. So an organization that wants to provide, give the ability to provide live chat support, it's built in. There's so many features and functions that are there, I think, and as you noted, what is it that we need to use? What is it that as an organization we're going to derive value from? And it becomes a journey, right? We don't have to do it all at once. We can start to integrate. And I start to think about automations as you talked about,
Yeah.
you know, integrating with like a Google, or Yelp or any
Reviews.
of these
Yeah.
sort of platforms, these reviews that are put out there. and being able to automatically reply saying, hey, thank you for your kind words, or whatever it is that you may want to reply with, being able to get those replies out there. Because that's something I can tell you I notice as a consumer when I'm looking at reviews on a if I'm going to do a vacation and I'm trying to figure out where I want to stay. I like to see that the proprietors of the business have interacted with the customers on the good and bad ones. Because I think most of us take some of the bad reviews with a grain of salt. When you've got 500 good reviews and 6 bad ones, you're like, okay. But to see that they've responded to and interacted with and really care about is the customer getting a good service from us. And I've read a few where where they'll take the customer to task at times.
Bit spicy,
Because sometimes you read these and you're like, really? Okay, that seems somewhat fantastical. Of you got there and you had a reservation and they put you in a room and the room exploded.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
But I've seen those reviews, and I start to think about, if I were running one of those businesses, how difficult, how time consuming that would be to keep up, especially for businesses that do a really great job and people do give positive reviews. Being able to thank them and being able to do some of the things that we need to do, being able to automate that brings a lot of value to me as an organization. So that's exciting.
And I think absolutely, and it's a double-edged sword as well, because it's with this product, it's very much about obviously saving money, reducing cost unnecessarily, so saving time for your agents and everything that they do, physically saving money in terms of getting rid of unnecessary software. So obviously the Halo being all inclusive, that's quite common that happens for our customers. But also on the flip side of that, making it a revenue driver for your organization. So like we said, with the reviews, seeing those positive reviews, that makes you much more likely to go and engage with that particular vendor or organization, or as well as that retention. So if you see that they've responded to your review and they said something really nice, hey, I'm going to go back there again, why not? So it's about, I guess, yes, saving money and also making it, I guess, is kind of what our focus is, for sure.
I could see that, based on the data that you can collect and the integrations that you guys have to collect that data, you have some sort of promotion that you're going to do. Those promotions can become more targeted at folks, or debuting a new product, or a new whatever it is. You now have data of which to drive some of that. I think one of my favorite companies that are out there, and Liv and I were joking about this, is Anchor. Right, so I have their little. I'm speaking on their little microphone here, and they're a good example of where I've inquired about certain products. They will have a new product, and I'll get an email saying, "Hey, we've got a new product. We thought you might be interested. Here's a link to some information on it, and oh, by the way, here's a discount code to be one of the first people out of the gate to be able to buy this." And they've gotten me on it a few times. Liv's seen a lot of my Anchor toys that I have.
No comment.
But they're using data to understand, okay, who are their customers, the customers that will be might be interested in this, and how do we get that out there? Because I'm going to probably write a review on it. I'm a avid reviewer, and so why not get it out to me? And that's all data. That's all data. Without that data, you don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the core things that, I guess, existing Halo ITSM customers will feel, when they kind of engage with us around HaloCRM, is there have been a number of changes in terms of how the system looks, feels, functions, to kind of be pushing towards that almost marketing type use case. So a good example of that, my wonderful development team have been working recently on a change to completely overhaul the organization or the customer's area, so where the bulk of customer information is stored. to allow you to create lists of either B2B customers, B2C contacts, who have certain qualities or values, to then extract that data to push it to marketing tools. So it just means that that information isn't just sat there being useless. You can use all of it and then push it towards, I guess, making more money in future as well. So we're even doing things pretty shortly to allow kind of bulk email, SMS, that kind of stuff to be sent from HaloCRM. So that kind of marketing use case can happen directly in there without even having to engage another piece of software. So yeah, watch this space for that kind of stuff. It's all coming. And of course, obviously, our roadmap is public, just as with our other products. So yeah, feel free to have a look.
It's so exciting. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time to share a little bit about HaloCRM, which is new. For everyone out there, stay tuned. Liv and I will be doing many videos to show you a little bit of HaloCRM. And you can watch, as you may have watched, the journey of Halo ITSM as the HaloCRM product. You've heard a number of the things. Liv owns this product, so you can take her word for it as to what's in the pipeline, and watch the product continue to evolve. And as is the Halo way, based on what do the customers tell us they want. We know the things that we think they'll like, but as the product continues to grow, it's going to be very driven by customer feedback.
Absolutely.
As
I mean,
as is the Halo way.
Yeah, I mean, this first sort of how long has it been now? 4 or 5 months that it's been launched have been an absolute ride. We've already got lots of customers on board who've been feeding things back. I mean, we even onboarded someone a couple of months ago now who asked us for a very cool feature which prevents the cherry picking of different inquiries. So it allows you to see who's seen a ticket and then gone, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's all sorts of fun things like that are coming already. So yeah, absolutely watch this space.
That's exciting. Well, Olivia, thank you for joining me today. And stay tuned, everyone, for another episode of our Tech Talk as we continue to explore all the things that are HaloCRM. ExcaliburData.com is our website. You can go out and sign up for your free trial of HaloCRM, and you'll be able to take a look at it for yourself. We'd love to see you around, and we'll see all of you on our next episode. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.